All right, welcome back everybody to the channel. Today I have another very special vehicle. This is the 2023 Volkswagen Golf GTI. Now, I would have showed you the front, or I would have showed you actually the Golf R a couple months ago. Now we're going to take a look at its little brother, if you will, and it's a little bit less power, but a whole lot of the same fun. So let's go. So starting up as usual with the front end, we have these very nice daytime running LEDs. They just look aggressive. And then you can see the fog lights that are not lit up because the car isn't on, but those fog lights right down there make everything come together so nice. We have this nice light bar that connects these headlights right here all the way to the Volkswagen emblem. Very cool. We love that. I love the front diffuser here. Big boy intake with the honeycomb design. I like it so much. It's just so nice with this gray color with these red accents. Oh boy, this is a very nice looking front end. All right, before we move on to the rest, let me give you some general information for the Volkswagen Golf GTI. So this isn't just any Golf GTI. This is the 40th anniversary, which you'll see when I take you on the side. You'll see the side profile of it. Now let's take a look quickly under the hood for the Volkswagen GTI. We got 241 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque, and yes, it is a 6-speed manual transmission. We got 3 pedals this week. Let's do this. So we got also a front wheel drive going on here. So overall, very nice, but let's take a look at the rest. So now let's move on to the side for the Golf GTI. You can see it's very compact, but it just looks oh so good in that gray color with these red accents. Ooh, my goodness. So we have a nice GTI badge right over here, where you can see it's just very clean there. Then we have these 19-inch rims with these red brake calipers. You can't go wrong with that. I love the red accent around the edge there. It's very nice. And then we have that 40th anniversary badge that I was talking about with like this honeycomb racing flag design. But I like that little attention to detail that you get. We also have a little sensor for the locking and unlocking. You put your hand in there with the key. Everything unlocks. Very effective. Very nice. So last but not least, it is the rear of the Volkswagen Golf GTI. So we have these very nice looking tail lights that you're probably used to seeing because you probably saw them on the Golf R. Not much change there. GTI badging. We can see that this guy will pop up and we will have our rear view camera right under there. Very cool. And then we have these nice big boy exhausts. Like, just look at these things. Doesn't it look like it's got some sound? It does have a nice little tune to it. So I'll go ahead and play that for you. We have a few sensors on the back here as well because we do have some nice parking sensors. And we have, of course, the trunk space. Let's open up the trunk, pop that guy open. It's not automatic, but it does kind of open for you a little bit. Plenty of space in there. A little bit of, there's a spare tire under the floor. Privacy thing right there. Fold the seats down and you're going to be able to fit a lot of stuff in there, but you're not really buying this car for the trunk space. You're buying it for what it can do. So that's more what you're going to do. But it's nice that you can close the trunk easily. It's not hard to close it off. So you put your hand underneath like this and you just kind of swing down and everything closes up very nicely. So let's hop right inside the interior. Let's get going with the rear. Okay, so let's hop in the back first of the Golf GTI here. Not a lot going on here. I'm gonna hop inside though because it is pretty noisy out here today. So I'm gonna hop right in. Not really a big issue doing that, although I am, a little bit squished. Like you can see my knees here are touching the edge of the seat there, or just the back of the seat here. But I am comfortable. I got plenty of like foot room underneath this seat here, so that's good. We have some like nice like cell phone holders kind of thing, and then like some nice holders back here too. Very cool. And then we have 2 basic vents. There's no heated seating back here, but I don't think you're going to be too concerned about any of that when you sit back here. Basically, I don't know. I feel like these seats hold you well because, I mean, this car, it's no secret. It's got a good amount of power to it when you put your foot down. So these seats do hold you well, and the material actually grew on me. I didn't think I would like the plaid, the old school stitching, but it did really grow on me, and I kind of like the way they have like the suede kind of thing with the plaid. They mix kind of like the modern with the old, and I like that. Got a little cup holder thing here that folds down, very comfortable. So overall, very good for the back seat. Let's, though, hop up front. All right, next up, as usual, it's going to be the front end of the Golf R. I'm gonna hop in right away because it's still super loud out there. So gonna sit in here like this. Really comfortable seating position. It's almost like a racing seat. I like the bucket form of like my seating position, but we're greeted by this excellent feeling steering wheel. I saw it. This is very familiar with the Jetta and also the Golf R. They both had very familiar steering wheels with kind of like these little things here that kind of pop out. We get a nice 40th edition logo because we do have the 40th edition Golf this week, which is very cool. You have these like weird haptic feedback things that not a lot of people like, but they are easy to live with and easy to get used to. I've driven quite a few Volkswagens this year, and I've pretty much an expert on it. So you can control things like your sound, your heated steering. Of course, we have that, your assist, your volume, all cool stuff like that. Left-hand side, we have some like weird touch controls too, which is not the greatest thing, but again, usable, so not a huge deal there. Over on the door side of things, we have some basic stuff like that. Nice, like I just like these little inserts here, kind of gives it a little bit of feel. I like the design overall in here. We have a nice digital gauge cluster screen, which I can press the view button and go through a whole bunch of different views, and you can customize what you see on the left and right side of the screen, so that's very nice as well as I can drop down and show you. Of course, this is the manual version, so it is a little bit more fun for my enthusiasts. Now we can move on to this infotainment screen. It's the same infotainment screen that we've seen in Volkswagens pretty much all year, very similar to what the Golf had going on. Now, not everybody's gonna like it, but I did not mind it at all. I really like this vehicle screen where you could like pull this up and like throw this guy around, then interior. I like the graphics here. It's very well done. You also control like your climate from here. There's a climate button that I could push to control that. Heated seats up front for the driver and passengers is very nice. Navigation's built in, all that nice stuff. So all of the things that you want in a pretty sporty car, which is not a bad idea. Next up, we move down just a little bit. I have my USB-C cable here, a little bit of storage with a wireless charger there, start stop button, our manual shifter here, very nice feel to it, very good grip on that thing, so very cool. And then we have the automatic parking brake. There's no handbrake here, so hill starts are a bit of an issue if you're a beginner like me when it comes to the manual stuff. We have these nice little rotating cup holders here, just a little bit of storage there. And then we get to these nice seats, which are embossed with the GTI logo. I love the red and black accents here. Very well done. Again, they've mixed the old with the new, and at first I thought I would hate it from the pictures, but you see it in person, and it really does start to grow on you over the week. You can also see we have there a Harman Kardon sound system, which is excellent as well. The ambient lighting here is good too. At nighttime, not too bad either. I just like to keep everything red because why not? It's just a cool color. But yeah, overall, it's a very comfortable place to spend time. But you're going to be probably, you know, if you are very good at driving manual, you are probably going to be ripping this thing more than enjoying its infotainment and all the other things in between. So let's take you for a little test drive in the Golf GTI. Hopefully I get the good weather to do it. And I just want to preface this part by saying I have not driven manual in many years, so I am almost learning from zero. So I'm going to tell you everything there's more on how it was to learn again, or kind of relearn. It's kind of like riding a bike. You never really forget, but you do get worse over the years. So I just want to preface that by saying my shifts are not going to be perfect. My shifts are not going to be crisp. So I'm just letting you know now so that you could not destroy me, please. Please be nice. And then so let's take this thing for a drive. All right, here we are, 2023 Volkswagen Golf GTI 40th Anniversary Edition. And the voice activation is already acting up. But that was a mouthful. But look, this is probably one of the more sporty cars that is on Volkswagen's lineup. And of course, you can see that it's in manual. Now, I'll ask that you bear with me because I haven't driven manual in many years. So it's been like kind of relearning it this week, and I have stalled more times than I'd like to admit. But now I get the unique advantage is to tell you how exactly this car drives as a almost beginner level manual car, which is great, right? Because, you know, not a lot of perspectives come from that. So I'm going to take things smooth today. I'm going to make sure my shifting is good because I don't want to break the car for the next people. That's kind of my main thing. I'm not going to dump the clutch. I'm not going to do anything crazy like that. You know, once I get a little bit better, I have some more manuals lined up, so you'll be able to see that from me a little bit more. But today I'm just going to talk about how it is to drive just generally and how it's been to learn the manual side of things. This car does have quite a bit of power. As you can see, I'm just cruising around in second gear, no problem. The car's happy to do that. But it does also have a eco suggestion thing where it'll tell me to shift up, shift down, whatever, which is very cool as well. This car does have a bit of power, and you can put the pedal down and absolutely rip it, you know, and you can hear the turbo spool up and all that stuff. Sport mode, the throttle becomes even more responsive. You've got a comfort mode in this thing. You've also got a custom mode. There's a good little bit of noise from the exhaust, but I think there is quite a bit of pumped in audio, which, you know, I don't hate. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I would rather just see it be exhaust. I would like to have a big fart can in the back and just let it go, right? So that's fine, but I'll take the pumped in audio. It does make things fun. It's definitely not as loud as the Golf R, I want to say. I feel like the Golf R was a bit louder. And obviously, like when it comes to like the top speeds and different stuff like that, well, the DSG is just going to be a little bit faster because a computer is faster than a human. That's just facts. But this is a lot more fun to drive. Like I said, I have not been driving manuals for years. So relearning it was a challenge, I will admit. It has been not so forgiving in the sense that like doesn't have rev matching, doesn't have hill assist, doesn't have any of that. So you're very much on your own. But once you figure out like how to get the car going, you're fine. And you know, upshifting and stuff like that is relatively simple. And it, you know, if you kind of get it a little bit wrong, then it is forgiving in that sense, which is really nice. The handling too has been super good. Like anytime that I've been able to dare myself to do sporty stuff, and that's kind of why I'm not doing anything crazy right now, is because I can't actually enjoy myself, speak to you at the same time, and row through the gears. It's way too much for my brain. Like I said, I'm relearning this whole thing, but it's been such a great experience because like my first night with it, after kind of like I relearned how to get the car going and stuff without stalling, it's just so much fun. It's just so much power. You know, you feel so powerful when you're able to row your own gears. You feel so in control of the car. It's such a different dynamic of driving. And I feel like the Golf GTI is a perfect way to go for this. I will say second gear, I could never nail it. I mean, even when I kind of do like the perfect shifting, or I feel like I'm doing the perfect shifting, it's still kind of weird, but I just feel like that might be because this is a press car. Many drivers drive this car, and I'm sure not all people are easy on this manual transmission. I'm sure people absolutely, you know, rag out the gears. They probably dump the clutch when they're not supposed to. It's probably a lot of that stuff, which obviously, you know, we want to test the car, so obviously we're going to do something like that. But you know, it's just a little bit sticky. I find the gear sticky. That's the best way to describe that. Okay, so I want to quickly discuss some fuel economy stuff. I do a lot of highway driving, a lot of different stuff like that. So mine is going to be naturally higher than yours will be, even if I'm driving in eco mode. So mine is like around 12 to 13 liters per 100 kilometers, which is still great. Don't get me wrong, especially since like, you know, I'm giving it more gas than I should because again, we have not driven manual for the first while. So the first like half of the week has just been me figuring stuff out, you know. So obviously I'm going to be a little bit more, you know, hard on the throttle than you should be. I'm going to ride the clutch a little bit more than you should, but it's all in good fun, and it's all like that is just fun to do. Like, come on, you just let your foot, it's driving with 2 feet. I never thought it would be fun, and the Golf GTI has made it fun, and I can confidently say that has made it fun. Like I can press on the gas, and just to be able to control what gear you're in when, it's so much fun. It's just so much fun. As I said, no rev matching. I mean, automatic rev matching anyway, so you kind of have to do that yourself on downshift, stuff like that. But that's kind of really like the only downside I'd say to like having a disadvantage when it comes to manual. I think honestly, if you're gonna learn manual, the Golf GTI is probably like one of the best ones because it doesn't help you. Like you kind of have to learn how to do everything yourself. It's gonna roll back on hills basically immediately. It's pretty easy to stall. I'm sure all manuals are, but this one in particular I found very easy to stall. So I mean, it teaches you the hard way, but it teaches you, which is really great, and I have no complaints there. And it just, you know, it's just fun to take this thing on cruises. You know, even if I'm not shifting or rowing through the gears, it's got such a smooth ride because I think the 40th anniversary version does come with adaptive dampers, which is great news as well, because I could, you know, stroll along the water. The roads aren't too good here, but I could stroll along this water view like I've been doing almost all week in this car. And you know, sometimes I can rip the gears, and sometimes I can just have a chill little thing, have a conversation on the phone. Whatever I need to do, I can do it. And the Golf GTI just has everything. The steering wheel feels great, fuel economy's right there, you know. And again, it is a manual that you can have a lot of fun in. Now, I don't know about traffic. Traffic is difficult in any manual. That's always going to be the downside thing. But when you're not in traffic, when you're not under load, oh my goodness, it is so much fun to just cruise around these streets, these bendy streets in this thing. You know, even if I can't get up to 6th gear, who cares? Doesn't matter. You know, even highway driving is smooth too because you're kind of in 6th gear the whole time. But It's all very smooth. It's all very clean. The transmission feels good. Even me, you can consider me a beginner. I think the transmission feels great in this setting. So, you know, not a lot of big complaints from me there either. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and leave things right there, because I already showed you the Golf R, and this is kind of just like a step down from that, but almost the same thing. The really big difference was that this one was a manual transmission, and it is fun. If you are considering learning manual, I strongly recommend you do it, especially if you're considering buying this car and this car being your first manual. I again strongly recommend that you do it. You'll have a lot of fun, just like I've had a lot of fun this week. To relearn it hasn't been that much of a chore. You know, once you kind of get there, you know, you're kind of good to go. There's not too much wrong with that. So yeah, feel free to let me know how my driving has been. You know, I'm gonna try to leave in as much as gear shifting as I can, but there isn't that much stop signs around here, so I'm gonna try to leave as much as I can. Feel free to give me tips. I'm completely open to that. Please let me know if you own one of these cars in the comments, because I'm always interested to know. And also, we can start that dialogue, that conversation, and it could help the potential buyer. That's all I want to do. I don't care about money. I don't care about views. I just want somebody to look at this car that I drive, and I just want my opinion to have some type of value. Maybe because it's a manual, I don't have that much things to say because I haven't driven manuals my whole life like some people. But I, at the very minimum, hope that some of you find my input on my first time, or not first time, but my first time in years, say, driving a manual has been, and how it's been with the Golf GTI. What a great car, great color. Love the design. 40th anniversary, you can't go wrong. I'd say get it while it's here, because the 40th anniversary, they definitely didn't make too many, and they're definitely not going to be around forever. So I'd say go ahead and pick this one up, or at least take it for a test drive and see if you find the manual transmission. But with that said, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.